Welcome to the future, guys. Hello, beautiful people. We are live today, and I'm super pumped because of who we have on the show. Many of you guys will know him as Baugasm, and his real name is Vasjen Katro, and I'm super excited because we've been exchanging messages on Instagram, and we finally were able to make this work. So here's Vasjen's name. This is how you spell it, Vasjen Katro. I hope I'm saying that correctly. And if you don't still know who he is, if you've opened up Illustrator anytime recently, you might recognize this splash screen. And he was one of the designers who worked on this project. And so here's the thing. I was trying to find out some information about Vasjen myself, and he's a man of mystery. International man of mystery is all I can find out. He's a graphic designer. He's from Tirana, Albania. And there's this project that he's been doing, like a design every single day for over a year. I think he's on year 2 right now, called the Baugasm project. And once you see his work, you'll know exactly who I'm talking about. Now, there's a chance, too, that you might be one of his students taking the Skillshare course. And I want to talk to him about that, how that happened, and how that's working out for him financially and all that kind of stuff. And now, I didn't even know where Albania was, so I had to look it up. So this is just my lack of understanding of geography here. It's kind of at the heel of the boot of Italy, above Greece. And you can see it's a seaside there. So that's where Tirana is, right there. Boom. And it's beautiful. It looks like Game of Thrones. Look at this. I'd like to come here someday. Look at the beaches. Beautiful stuff. Anyways, here's Vasjen in his studio, and we're going to talk to him. And before we do that, we need to do something. We need to roll the titles! All right, let's welcome Vasjen to the show. Vasjen, is your mic on? How you doing, man?
Yeah, I think, am I unmuted? I think, yeah.
Yeah, you're perfect.
I'm fine, thanks. All right, thanks for having me. This is fun. I mean, you can Google my name, you'll find more stuff, but yeah, this was really fast.
Okay, so we have a challenge for you today, and we're going to be talking to you. I have so many questions, and if you're tuning in on Facebook or on YouTube, guys, feel free to make some comments. Emily's going to be monitoring the comments today because she's also a fan of yours. And I want to start the show off with a little bit of controversy. Emily was very excited that you liked one of her posts, and she's like, "Darn it, why didn't he follow me?" That's okay. I'm not giving you a hard time. That's all right. She's like, "Wow, you see, he followed me." That's Emily right there.
Hi.
I will make sure to. Hi, I will make sure to follow you.
You don't have to do that. Come on.
No,
you only
just follow. I don't care.
All right.
I'm sorry. Like sometimes I bro stuff and I like what I see, and like the follow is like one step further. You have to go to the account, follow people.
No worries. I was already really happy that you liked my post.
Okay, so here's the format for the show today. We've asked you to kind of show us a little bit of your process. So we'll be diving into, I think, Adobe Illustrator or Photoshop, however you work. But while we're doing that, I'll have a conversation with you. I have questions about not only you as a designer, how you got started, and all that kind of stuff, but I want to show the people some of your work, right? So you guys,
Sure.
You want to definitely tune in for this because he does amazing work. So if you go and look at him on, I think this is Behance. Is this Behance? Yeah, this is Behance. Yeah. His projects have over 300,000 views, and when you dive in, the work is just incredible. Check out these posters. And he's doing this one every single day for how long now?
Oh, I think it's been 2 years now.
It's 2 years, right?
I'm on in the end of the second year, yeah.
Okay, this is awesome. Wow. So that means there's a ton of posts. Check it out.
Today I just posted a 700 poster.
Here's some more, I think. Gorgeous work. And I like that some of it is just using simple geometric shapes, and you have a very good sense of color, and then you're adding a little bit of typography and graphic elements in there, and I just love that. Okay, so now that you guys know who he is, because you must have seen this somewhere on Instagram or Dribble or wherever else you were able to see work. So what are we going to do today? Can we dive into looking at how you designed one of your posters?
Sure. I mean, that's...
Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing so that you can then take over.
All right. Let me choose my...
Hopefully
where's
that
the
works.
tab of my bank account?
So you guys get your screen capture ready because the bank account information is coming up.
All right. I don't know if you can see this. But...
Yes, I can see it. Perfect.
Awesome. Oh, I need to remove
We're
it.
doing so. You basically are saying that you kind of don't know where you're starting. This is a fresh start. You've already posted your design for today, so we're gonna get rolling on this. And I see you're working in Adobe Illustrator, and this is
No.
a proper template, right? We see that you always put the typography in these exact spots, right?
Yeah, yeah. Here's the thing. I use this template as the first year I had a different template, like a different way of sorting the designs, but this year is a different one. So I use the same template, just change the date. Maybe this is an old one. It's
Okay.
too. So I'm gonna let's go and do whatever.
Let's do it. So this is day 330.
I think it's 38.
Day 338 of year 2. So you're almost done with year 2, right?
Yeah. So what is the day today? May 17. And it is Thursday.
I see. Beautiful.
So that's one way of editing that. So as I said, I'm not pretty sure what I'm gonna do. So I'm just gonna try experimental stuff. So this is Photoshop, by the way.
Oh, okay. Yes. Thank you.
So I'm sometimes I start maybe on Illustrator, sometimes I start on Photoshop. But what I'm gonna maybe just try do, and this is like the best way for me to start it. I just get like the brush, and I get a big brush and start choosing colors. And everybody that follows me knows that this is my go-to color.
Hey, we like that color too.
Oh yeah. Here is a thing, like my computer is gonna go crazy because on this MacBook I usually work when I have when I travel, and I don't do any crazy work. But for this, I didn't have a webcam for my other big computer, so
it's gonna freak out.
I hope not. Yeah, and we are live, and I think it's gonna be fun. Okay. So anyway, I mean, like I can like go through this and explain everything that I'm doing, but we can also talk other stuff if you want.
Let's get started by you explaining what you're doing, and then as we get into that, I have a bunch of questions I want to ask you.
All right. Okay. So what is that? Okay.
Oh, so somebody's asking you, are you using a sketch pad?
Hey, excuse me, sorry to cut you guys off, but could we hold up a second? We're going to start a screen recording so that we can get everything that he does on the computer.
Okay.
Just one moment, please.
So maybe I can just ask you that. So are you using a Wacom pen, or do you use sketches before, or anything like that?
Oh yeah. I use like I used tablet before, but now no, I'm not using anything.
Just mouse?
I don't use that. Just actually now I'm on my trackpad.
Trackpad. You're doing this with a trackpad?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Now,
wow.
Yes.
Okay.
it's just moving. I mean, I travel a lot, and I try to. I usually have my laptop, and I'm like, I can do whatever with the trackpad. I work with the mouse too, but I can switch between the two very easy. So, yeah. I mean, I also do some experimental stuff on my iPad when I need. I have like a iPad Pro that I can draw there and do some stuff. So. All right, so let's get to this.
Let's do it.
I'm gonna create a new layer. If there are questions probably for me on the chat, I won't be able to look at them.
Okay, I'll monitor them. Yeah, while you work, we can only do so many things at the same time, right? You work, and I'll read the comments, and I'll pick out the good questions, okay?
All right.
Steven's like, whoa, trackpad, this guy's a baller. He is a baller. So what I see you doing is you're just laying down some colors, right? In some general areas, and you're creating just the beginning of your design.
This is just a phase where I play some things in here, and I see if I like this, I start from scratch or whatever. I don't know what I'm doing. So this is also a little bit under pressure because I have to do, I don't know, something that looks good. So I don't know if this, you have to make sure that you tell people this, because I'm not sure if this is going to be final. I'm not sure that this is the
Right.
final piece.
I
So
get
I'm
it.
going to try to just play around as I do every day. So
Okay. Look,
yeah.
guys, look, this is
There.
designing
The
while
poster is done.
I love it. It's beautiful. Well, you guys understand that designing live with like 300-400 people watching you, it's not his normal process. And how long does it take you typically to do one design?
Oh, well, it depends how complex it is. And let's talk a little bit about what I'm doing with the Baugasm, because I don't think it's just the technical part. For me, it's like the whole Baugasm thing is like a learning curve. It's like a project that I'm doing because I want to learn new stuff. And I'm teaching things, and I'm still thinking I'm not a professional, because there is so much space for me to learn new things. And this is the platform, and this is the playground for me to experiment and do and learn new stuff. So
I love that.
I played around. I learned how to do stuff on Cinema 4D. I learned how to do stuff on After Effects just because of this project. Before, if I wanted to do work for a client, I would have to go and learn, watch a tutorial on Adobe After Effects and how to do certain animation, and I would be, damn, I saw this like 6 months ago, and now I forgot how to do it. But like doing it constantly, like being consistent and doing it almost every day is like a way of for me to learn the new tools and new stuff. So and this is the reason on why I'm mentioning this, is because now I'm working on Photoshop, but like if I feel today that I want to play around just on Illustrator, that's where I play around with new stuff. Or like I got so bored of working on just on Photoshop, Illustrator, then I was like, okay, how can I expand this and do more stuff? So I'm also a lot into photography, and I was like, okay, maybe I can start experimenting with acrylic paint. And I started doing some, like abstract stuff with acrylic paint, started photographing them, and then I moved them in Photoshop. I changed the texture and all, and I was like, okay, what if I take this in Cinema 4D? I took it in Cinema 4D, animated the thing, and then I was like, okay, now I'm going to make it in After Effects. I went to After Effects, I did like a crazy part, and then I added music, and then I posted it. So it's like so many paths, so many things to go through, and learning from each one of them. It's like, But when I started doing that, I challenged for 1 month, I'm going to do a video poster every day. And that was like the most craziest thing I've ever done, because I had to wait for rendering. I had to wait for so many other stuff. And back then I was just doing it on my laptop, and my laptop was not suitable for good rendering. So now I have like a workstation, and those stuff are much easier to go. But so yeah, now I'm working on Photoshop, and probably depends on what I'm trying to do and the technique, and if I'm happy with it, maybe it's going to take me like, I don't know, like, half an hour or like 20 minutes or whatever, even 5 minutes. But like if I'm working on something that is more like in Cinema 4D, or like I want to play more around, I could spend also all day. Like I start in the morning, and like I touch a little bit during the day.
I have so many questions for you, Vasjen. So
sure.
let's see, because I want to just cover a lot of ground here. So if you want to keep working while I'm talking to you, so right now we're just on your face, right? So did you go to design school?
No, I have a degree in computing science and multimedia, and but I did mostly. And here's the thing, I started designing because I was into music, and I did the cover for my first cover of my album that they wanted to publish on a label, and they loved the design, and they said like, what if you just keep doing the designs for us? And I got into design, and then I had a portfolio, and I was like, okay, I need to build my actual portfolio, like my website. And I started learning how to code, and then I was like, okay, maybe I'm going to go and study computing science and multimedia. And that's how I got into UI and UX. And but graphic design has been always there for me, because I was always in techno music and electronic music. So if you see my style of designing the posters, it's like very related to the electronic music in general.
Now that you explained it, that makes a lot of sense. When did you graduate from school?
I don't remember. Maybe it was like when I was 22. Now I'm 29. So yeah.
7 years ago. So that's like 2011.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you still look really young to me. So it's like I was suspicious, like how long you've been out. So,
well, thank you. Well, here's the thing, like when I was in university, I was doing a lot of freelance work as well and working with a lot of clients, and I just wanted to get rid of the school, and I was like, school is on my way. I actually didn't need school at all, and it was like, okay, either I continue doing it. I had a chance to do the school to extend it to 5 years, and I was like, no, I'm gonna finish it in 3 years. And it is a British university, so I had 3 years, and then I could do master or whatever. But I said, like, I'm gonna do it in 3 years because I want to get rid of it. I promised my parents that I'm gonna do it, and I did that. I'm like, now I'm just gonna focus on work, because the last year was like getting on my way. I had a lot of client work, and I had to do also school stuff, and I'm like, damn, this is not the way to go. So I have to either finish school or lose clients. So
I may have screwed up on the math here. Did you say you're 27 years old?
I'm 29.
Oh, 29. Okay. No, I got the math right. All right. Good. Some people might be giving me a hard time in case I screwed that part up.
Oh, yeah.
This part is really super fascinating to me. You're going to school and you're doing computer science, and you finish it instead of 5 years, you finish it in 3. And you really study computer science because you love graphic design. So this is a weird route to get you where you are. How is it that somebody who's studying computer science can get freelance clients? Like, how did that even happen? And you're especially because you're still in school.
Back then I was, like Dribble just started, and Dribble was like the first way of publishing my work. I was more focused in UI and UX. So I was getting like, startups, people who are like on a certain stage of their work, and they were, they're looking for different people to help them out. Like there are a lot of UI and UX designers out there. So they were not the highest paying freelance work, but they were enough to get me through college and university. So and I used to work for a period of time also for Rocket Team, if you remember Rocket Team. Like
no, I don't remember Rocket Team. Okay.
There is Rocket. Yeah, back when I was in, I think that was the time when I was in university, and I was helping them build like templates for Joomla. Does anybody remember Joomla?
Yeah, I remember that.
Does it still exist? I don't know. But yeah, so and that's the stuff I was doing, and at the same time, like and I had like also to do a final year project on my university, so I spent like 1 year, doing that, and it was like basically sort of a copy of Dribble, because I was like so in love with Dribble. I was like, final year project, I'm gonna do Dribble, but like better. So,
and when did you begin the Baugasm thing? And what brought that on? Like, what inspired you to do these daily posts?
Okay, so before Baugasm, like there is a funny story about that, because I did this project like 6 years ago that it's called 60 Designs. And like 6 years ago, I challenged myself to create like a poster every day for 60 days. And when I was on the day 40, I gave up. And the reason is because I was posting the posters on my own personal account. On my personal website that nobody knew except friends and family. So, and when I reached the 40 day, I kind of gave up on it. I didn't get any that much attention or like feedback on it. And I was still young, and a lot of work doing with client work and figuring out a lot of stuff in my life. So, and always that was on my mind. That's something that I failed and that I never completed on. And then when I became more like passionate about Instagram, because as I said, I shoot a lot of photography as well. And I had my personal account when I was just sharing photography. And then I wanted to share my design work. And I'm like, damn, like I can't share any design work on my personal Instagram because it's more photography curated. And I was like, what if I start, like, I want to post every day. So what if I start this accumulation of creativity I have while just doing client work and like doing something for myself and like creating content for Instagram as I do with photography, like go out and shoot. Why not just create design for myself, but also like posting it out there? And also then I was like, okay, I'm going to do this thing. Then why not just do the 60 designs thing that I did, 6 years ago and I failed? And why not just do it right now and extend it to a year? And I'm going to make it public. It's Instagram and so on. and there is much more pressure, and why not just do it? And that's how I started on doing it.
I see.
And yeah.
Well, you mentioned photography a couple of times now, and there were some questions about you being a photographer, and I'm glad you brought it up because I didn't know this until prior till today. I was looking on your Instagram account, and lo and behold, there's this hashtag Fujifilm, and then I look at your account, and there's some really beautiful photographs in there. May I ask who this person is? I think the same woman is in almost like a lot of the shots here. Is this somebody you're seeing, or is this just a model that you use a lot?
She's my girlfriend.
She's a girlfriend.
Probably watching now. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Okay.
She's my muse on photography. So I don't usually shoot portraits. I like more like traveling and do other sort of photography. But like when I shoot portraits, I shoot only her. So yeah, it's like for me, photography is like a reason to play with the gadgets and with the gear. So I'm not earning anything from it, and I've spent so much on just buying gear and stuff for photography, but I love it. I mean, yeah. And I recently started shooting just film, and I'm also developing the film by myself, so a lot of stuff going on there.
You're a busy guy.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not that busy as it seems, though. I mean, I try to manage my time very well. So,
Well, since you're talking about time, I know you do freelance work, and you're seemingly like very prolific on Skillshare as well. Because the first time I saw you, I think you only had 2 courses on Skillshare. I think you're up to like 9 classes, right? So, and then you're doing the daily poster project. So, how many hours are you working in a day? What's an average day like?
I will tell you exactly like how my day looks,
Okay.
because I get this question a lot on Instagram and from people, and I try to sleep as much as I can. And here's the thing: like I have my day scheduled that I want to start my day whenever I want, so get as much sleep as I want, because I can stay at night up until when I want. So if I'm inspired, I do stuff. If I'm not inspired, I don't do stuff.
I see.
I do stuff under pressure, and usually it's not good. And sometimes it's good, but I don't want to have that. So even with client work, I try to have flexibility on what I do, and like on the deadlines, and I prefer to have a little bit more space. So usually my day looks like I wake up around 10 a.m. and I go I come to the studio. Maybe I have a coffee here, or I go like outside in the area where I live and I get a coffee, and maybe I go with a ride off with my motorcycle around the city, do some errands and stuff that I need to do. And then I come to the studio, and then I start working. So probably I'm going to be at studio around 11 or 12 midday, and I'm going to leave the studio at 11 p.m. And when I go back home, I'm probably still going to be on my laptop working, maybe finishing the poster. So that's how my day looks. But I mean, there are days that I'm like, okay, today I try to give space to myself. I'm like, today I'm not going to do nothing. Like, I'm not good, but like nothing, meaning that nothing that I've done like a lot the recent days. So then I choose like today I'm just going to do photography and like don't touch design at all. Like I'm not going to open Photoshop or anything. So and that's when I take the camera, get in my car, and we go somewhere around and try to do something. And then when I come back, well, for me whatever I'm doing, it's not work, it's fun. And if I try to keep it as that, I never get tired or bored of it. So, and recently I don't work for any kind of client. So I'm also choosing what I'm doing and who I'm working with. So that's a lot of flexibility and on what I'm doing. So
it sounds like you're living the dream that everybody wants to live. This is awesome. So you have complete control over your schedule, and I like this mindset that you have in terms of you work when you're inspired, and when you're not, you don't try and force it out. So you'll do other things. You'll find a distraction. Like maybe you'll go and have coffee or shoot photographs, right?
Yeah, I mean, like I have times, of course, like everybody, that I have to focus and finish. Like deadline is always yesterday.
Right.
So I have those moments when I need just to focus on the work, and I do it. I mean, most of the times I've done good work, but like I'm not proud of myself, because when I'm like that, I'm like still under pressure. I'm like, maybe could have done it better. And like for example, I had like a work to do with Coca Cola, and they asked me like, okay, you have to do just one design, and you know, it's this piece, only one part of it. I'm like, okay, how much time do I have? And they were like, 1 week, and I'm like, okay, I can do that in a day. What if I do 16 in a week? And so I give them 16.
That's cool. Hey, since you mentioned this, how did the Adobe Coca Cola project come about?
Well, I was working with Adobe in same time with Splash Screen and Illustrator, and I was in contact with some people at Adobe, and they ended up contacting me. They were doing this project with like hiring a lot of artists, designers. I'm creating like an artwork for the 2020 Olympics, and they hired, I don't know how many designers. I think like 15 or 20, and they were like, okay, you have to create one circle and one artwork inside the circle, because it's the Japanese flag and Olympics and Coca Cola, Adobe colors, everything. And they said, okay, you have to create like just one artwork. And I was like, okay, I mean, I can create one artwork, and it's going to take me probably 1 day to create something inside circle. I could take it even working for 1 week on that and like come up with crazy ideas. But then I was like, what if I just create 16 different artworks for each day of the Olympics? So the Olympics usually are 16 days. So I was like, each day it's going to be one artwork. So they wanted me to make one. I made 16. And in the end, this is a funny story, and this is a side note for everybody. Like in the end, they tried to publish each artwork from each designer on their website, because that was the point. Like all these 15, 20 designers, they're going to take each artwork that everybody did, and they're going to add it on their website. And they took a lot from me. And because I did 16, and when you open the website, most of the work that you see there are my artworks, because I did more than they asked. So a side note is, give to your client more than they asked. So yeah.
Did they pay you like a flat fee for that one artwork, and you wound up generating so much more? Is that how that worked?
Yeah.
So I got to ask, I mean, you don't have to tell me the budget, but do they have a good budget?
I mean, here's the thing, like if you work with big companies such as Coca Cola, Adobe, and of course it's different than working with two guys starting a startup somewhere in San Francisco and have limited budget. So yeah.
Like, what kind of car could I buy with the money? No, I'm just kidding. All right. So let's look at your screen here. So you've made a lot of progress on this, and you're moving things around. There was a comment or a question about the type on the side. I want to talk about that a little bit as you keep working, right? And I think having the typography really adds a level of detail. Otherwise, these things just become abstract shapes on a page. And I think the typography really makes it.
They still look good even with typography.
Yeah.
I've tried, trust me. Like every time after I export the poster, like I save it, I took out the typography, because I want to see it. What if tomorrow I decide that that's boring, and what if I want to just look at it like this? And
I see.
More like a painting and more like a artistic artwork than just typography.
Okay.
More like a painting than a poster.
I see.
So, and then I go back and it still looks great.
So you're testing to see if the painting can stand on its own without the typography, and you take that off just to check.
Yeah. It's like I don't know. It's like you see it's red, and it's like it's like just for me a way of checking that.
Well, see, I'm a little biased because I love type. So when I see the type, it just really feels like it's just right, right?
Oh yeah, totally. I mean, I love typography there too, but okay. That thing on the live stream, it was showing on on top of Photoshop, but I had to move it. So yeah, I mean, like, of course, I love having the typography there, but sometimes, I change my mind very easy. So maybe, I don't know, in the future, I would like to have a version of all these, 700 designs without the typography for any whatever reason. So I want to make sure that they look good, and I don't have to go through each one of them and change it.
Now, as you're working through here, for the person that is kind of like trying to figure this thing out, are you using a grid under here? Like, what's driving your decision in terms of the shapes that you're creating? Oh, there is a grid.
There is this grid probably change. Like, I'm gonna change it now like this, and after I don't know 2 months, I'm gonna open and this is gonna be the grid. So probably this never get opened.
I see.
I don't use the grid at all. So for me, the guidelines are the typography around. So that's the grid. Like, I have to maybe fit everything within this area. Like I have to fit everything within this area. And sometimes I'm like, I get pissed with myself because I'm like, dang, why do I have to do it only here? Like, why don't I just extend it and go beyond that?
Right.
And I do it sometimes. But sometimes I fall, because when I remove that, I'm like just looking at this piece like that. I'm like, okay, maybe it needs like a frame around or something. So, but yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Well, so if I'm looking at this and I'm a person trying to study design, I see that you started out with a really big shape, which pretty much filled in that space that you're between the type. And then you started making that skinnier vertical orange-yellow gradient. How did you know that was the size that the design required, and why did you put it where you put it?
Which one? Sorry.
That big vertical stripe, the orange and yellow gradient? And red.
You mean this one?
Yeah,
okay,
why that size? Why there? And can you talk us through like why you decided to put it there versus somewhere else?
All right. So here's the thing. I don't have any justifications on what, especially on this stuff. The only reasoning I would say is because it looks good to my eye. This is how I judge it. It's like, do I like it there or I don't like it there? I mean, I could change it. I could just, do here, go to free transform perspective and whatever. I could do something like that, or I don't know, distort and just make it crazy like that and add it somewhere else. But like for me, these are like the elements to play around with. So for now, this is something that I created. It's like one element that I have there, and now I can move these things around. So each object in there maybe can change and are like different part of the design. I don't know how I can do this now because I want to switch a little bit on Illustrator.
Okay.
The new screen share.
Are you sharing screen or sharing application?
I'm sharing application.
Okay,
so I'm gonna
you can just choose. Yeah,
Illustrator now.
Cool. And while you're doing that, somebody had asked, where does the name Baugasm come from? What does it mean?
Oh yeah, I was expecting when that would come.
Okay.
So funny and cheesy at this point, but it's from Bauhaus and of course Bowgasm.
I assumed.
Yeah, I mean, it's obvious in a way. But here's the thing: like, I kind of love the name right now, and the reason why I love it is because if you Google Baugasm, the only thing that you're gonna show up, it's my work. It's Baugasm. It doesn't exist. It's that thing, and nowadays it's a bit difficult to find that. So I kind of love it, but it's like I hate the part of that is a bit cheesy.
No, I like it. Last time when we had G-Monk on the stream, I asked him like, where does that name come from? His teacher said you need to come up with an alter ego or a name, and so they worked on it together, and now he just goes by G-Monk all the time. And it's kind of nice to have like that one word name where you're only associated with that, like that name is associated with you. Like when you hear the word Madonna,
on my case was not like intentionally put out there, because for me it was like I had to find a username for Instagram for this project, and I was like, okay, maybe I call, because Baugasm for me it's not, I mean, of course it's me, but it's a project. It's like my alter ego project that whatever I'm doing there. So it was like not intentionally meant to be sort of my username, but was more like a name for the account. So yeah. All right, so now I'm on Illustrator. I'm just gonna whatever, do some let's see what I can get here.
We're using a blend shape there.
I don't know how it's called, and funny, it's Word tool, yeah. And that was
To make the original coil, you started with some circles, and did you use a blend?
Yeah. It's the blend tool.
Yeah, blend tool.
I have a tutorial on Skillshare on how to do basically this whole thing, like how to do this one and complete poster with this stuff. So, in case people want to see more stuff. So
cool.
Why did I open Chrome? All right. So now, I'm just gonna maybe make this bigger. And okay, I'm going to copy this and go back to Photoshop now. So
okay,
maybe you can see it yet.
Yeah, we're still in Illustrator.
Yeah, 1 second. I just need for you to paste it.
Emily, is there a question that people are asking that you think warrants some attention?
Yeah, sure. Leandra asks, what are some of the big no-nos that you've learned along the way?
If you see my designs, I don't use like plain vibrant colors. Like I don't use green, like plain green. I don't use I don't know, like usually one thing that I also learned is that you have to make sure that all this stuff need to be print ready. The first year when I started, I just chose a random size on how to do this poster. I mean, it was A4, and then I was like, maybe I'm gonna make it a little bit shorter, and I did that. And then when I wanted to print the posters, every printing company was asking me, "You need to have it 18 by 24 inch." And I'm like, "Damn, I have to go through each design and adapt them for print."
Oh.
So make sure that I did the second year is fine. It's everything. It's ready. So if you go to my shop and see the posters, most of the designs you're going to see there are from the second year, because they're much easier for me to add there. So anything else that comes in my mind right now while designing, I don't know. So
you don't like the color green?
No, I mean I love green, but it depends where you use it. For what I'm doing, I always find difficulties with green, adapting it to the Baugasm project. Like now I'm going to use green, but I'm going to use sort of different green. I'm gonna, because I feel bad for green. So you can see that green is not like a color that, I'm going more of a turquoise right now. So I created a new layer. I'm just gonna add this turquoise. I'm gonna find a spot where I can just add it there. So green and maybe this turquoise always, because they're the same close together as the colors. So they go very well with the blue and purple. So if I add that to the yellow, it still doesn't look that bad, but like here it looks much better than here. I don't know if you can see the difference.
I can see it, yeah.
Maybe it's a little bit, but so I can't use green, like leaf green, like plant green or whatever. So that's the green I was referring to. I'm not vegetarian, so yeah.
I have another question for myself.
Sure.
Because you've done so many posters in the past, do you ever find yourself making the same thing? And what happens when you do?
Oh, good question.
Good
so,
one.
Yeah. The thing is, of course, like doing it every day, it comes to a point that, I'm tired. I finished a project for a client, and I'm at this point, like, what should I do today? And there are times that I find myself that, I'm kind of repeating thing, and that's good. And this is why I love this project, because when I realize that I'm doing the same thing, I'm like, okay, I need to change something. I need to learn new things. So of course that happens, and I find myself doing that, but I love that it happens because it pushes me to learn new stuff. So if you see my whole project from the beginning until now, you're going to see that there are different things that have changed and evolved. There are elements that I use on my designs that are unique, that I try to replicate them often, like lines, dots, small details, like small typography on certain parts, maybe gradients and all this stuff. But I try to add more like 3D. I try to add more like 3D objects, but in the same time like play with illustrations and play with lines and like come up with liquid elements. And there are so many stuff that you can play around. But like in the beginning, I was using a lot of typography. Lately, I'm not using that much typography. But then I'm like, okay, maybe now I can start using typography a little bit more. But like going back to typography after 2 months of not using it, I come up with a fresh idea and with a fresh mind. And I'm like, okay, now I'm going to do some sort of different stuff from typography on my posters. So, yeah, I mean, sorry, this was a long answer of your question, but
No, it's
of course, I
great.
mean, it's normal that, and I accept that. And for people, here's the thing: like, I get messages on or like comments on Instagram of people saying that, oh, this sucks. Like, you just keep repeating yourself over and over. And I'm like, of course. I mean, like, why do you have to be negative though in the first place? But in the same time, that's normal. You have to understand it because I'm doing this for 2 years. Try doing it for 2 years, and oh, the light goes blue. I got a notification.
What's going on there?
I got a probably notification on Twitter or something. It's just the bugs. Yeah, high tech studio. I mean, the studio is very small, but I just got a new one now, so I have a lot of space to do like my video stuff and also like paintings because I'm gonna do whatever I'm doing on Photoshop now. I'm gonna do them painting with acrylics and spray paints and cans and all this stuff. So I want to do some huge, like 2x2 or 3x3 meters, paintings. All right, I'm gonna keep adding stuff to this.
Okay.
poster.
Well, while you work on this, I want to bring up something that we talked about right before we went on air, which is you have your Skillshare class, and you were sharing like at the beginning when people, you were kind of nervous about putting this stuff out because then people were going to learn your techniques and then copy you, and then you had a very strong reaction to it. Can you talk us through your thinking process and why now you're okay producing so many different tutorials?
Yeah, totally. Like in the beginning, when I started sharing in Skillshare, I didn't think that much. I didn't care what I was doing because I was just I learned this thing. It's cool for me. I love it. I've been experimenting with that technique for many years. I was like, maybe I'm gonna just do because I was presented to Skillshare as a photography. I was watching some photography classes and stuff like that, and I always wanted to do a tutorial there. But I always thought maybe I'm gonna do it on design. And when I did the Baugasm thing, many people were writing me comments like, "Oh, how did you do that?" Or like, "What happened? Like, how did you manage to create that color?" I was like, okay, maybe I'm just gonna do. And the funny thing, I was sharing while I was doing the posters, I was like sharing stories on Snapchat, well, Snaps, or whatever it was called, because I'm not using it anymore, and I don't know if there are people who still use it, but so yeah, I was sharing on Snapchat, and then when Instagram came with stories, I was sharing the process there, and people are like, do a full tutorial on that, and I started doing the tutorials on Skillshare, and in the beginning, I started seeing a lot of people like watching the classes and like getting a lot of attention on that, and like they're starting to replicate that. But that was one poster, and then I saw a lot of like now I'm like, okay, there are so many. If you probably go on Instagram and search hashtag Baugasm, I don't know how many posts are going to be tagged with Baugasm, and most of those posts probably are similar to what I'm doing. And in the beginning, I was reacting. I didn't know how to react actually, and for me at this point, I'm like, people will copy your work, and I have to get over it. And I'm sort of getting over it because I don't care. There are a lot of young designers who are trying to learn and find inspiration on what I'm doing, or like a reason to see what I'm doing and replicating that. But I'm still getting pissed when I see professionals that they see what I'm doing, and they're like, okay, maybe I can just adopt this on my own style and like make it my own. So there are some designers that I've seen around that have been in the game for a very long time, and they start seeing my classes. There was this case. This was this guy who seen my classes, started replicating. He started doing everyday stuff on Instagram. He started replicating what I was doing, and then he made tutorials on top of that, like
Oh my
exactly
gosh.
what he saw on my classes, and started doing that. I mean, I don't want to make anything public or whatever, but like
Right.
maybe some of my followers will know. But I mean, I don't care. I don't mind. It's not there. When I see the stuff that they're making, I'm like, damn, I will never do that stuff.
Right.
Like it never. Now I'm looking at this thing and it's not perfect, and this is how I feel when I see their work. I mean, my stuff is never perfect as well, but like until I'm happy with it. But when I see that stuff, I'm like, I never would created this. And I get pissed for exactly this reason, because they're taking some of my elements and making it, adding things that don't go there. Because what I'm doing is like, either it's good and like you put everything in the right place that looks good together, either you just mess it up. So what I see is like, it's messed up, and I'm pissed because people are like looking at that and thinking that is my work. And there was this case. I was invited into this conference, and they asked, for some of my work, and I replied late on that, and they already had found some stuff from the internet. And some of the things that were there were not my artworks, because they just found on the internet and
Right.
were for somebody else. So at this point, I'm like, I don't care. Of course, I'm doing classes. I'm doing Skillshare tutorials on teaching people how to do what I'm doing, and it's acceptable and understandable. But in the same time, I get pissed when I see professionals that are like, trying to make a profit on top of it, because that's basically doing the classes. That's what it is. Like, but I mean, I still don't care. Do whatever you want.
Sure.
You know.
Well, I like that
Yeah.
you've gone through this whole arc of first like thinking, did I shoot myself in the foot by creating this course, and now people are going to rip off your style, and then saying like it's okay, and then people then teaching. And I think this is definitely crossing the line when people are trying to teach the technique that you're teaching, because that goes against the whole spirit of teaching in the first place. But there's a conflict here, everybody. If you're going to teach a class, if you're a really good teacher, the idea is your student would be able to do the kinds of things that you do. If you're a terrible teacher, then they can't. So what's the point of teaching, right? So you're going to give away your process in hopes that they learn and they grow. And the best way people grow and learn is they imitate. We all do it. That's how we learn how to do what we do, how we learn to walk, how to eat and design. You look at other stuff, you're influenced by it, you try your best to do something like it. What I'm hearing from you is something that I feel too, is that if you're going to try to do work that is like somebody else's, at least do it justice. Spend the time, energy, and craft something that looks good, so that you can step back and be like more like a proud instructor and say, wow, that was really good. Not what I would do, but it was really nicely done. And maybe it could even spark some dialogue with you that you can think,
totally.
interesting
no,
tricks, I like what you did there. And then it becomes a back and forth. And I think back in the early days, if I'm remembering my art history correct here, is that Japanese artists were really inspired by Disney and how their characters look. But the work that Disney was doing was super labor intensive, and it just required a lot of effort. And so they had a very different demand on production. And so what they did was they did a shorthand of what they thought of Disney, and they started to change the way the noses work and the mouth so it would be easier to animate, and their eyes became really big, and they could communicate emotion or energy just by animating the glint, this back and forth in the eye. So that becomes its own style. And then now Disney looks back at it, or Western culture looks back at Japanese anime, and then they do their version of that. And I love that interplay, that back and forth. So it's just like, if you're going to do something, just do it with care and craft, and not try to muck up the space, is what I'm saying, right?
Yeah, that's the thing. Like I've seen people who done amazing stuff, like watching my classes, and like I'm loving, like seeing them, like I would have done that, and they have took it to a different stage, like adding more stuff and personalize and make it their own, like whatever. But the thing is, that I said I'm more getting annoyed of is that if I'm teaching something, why do you have to teach the same thing?
Right.
Then maybe you just point at my class and say, okay, I learned this stuff from Baugasm, and here you can watch the class, and whatever. But anyway, that would be a perfect word.
Yes.
So.
Yes, I think that's just really lazy and impolite to take your course and then try and teach something similar but not be nearly as good. So I think the thing is with all things, you can borrow things, but then you have to mix them and then make something else, make something new, add something to the conversation. Otherwise, it's just a poor imitation. Well, I'm on Instagram right now, And I checked out the hashtag Baugasm, and I see there's like over 9,000 posts from other people, and some are yours, I think. But you can see here, there's a variety. Like somebody who might have taken the class or was inspired, this looks radically different. First of all, they're using green. That V is like, come on, guys, right? You know he doesn't use green. And then different shapes.
I gave up my secret. I gave up my secret.
now they'll be able to do it. And you can see that their handling of color and the composition is very different than what you're doing. And of course, there's one
totally. I mean, like there are stuff that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but those stuff.
So it's very clear to me that it's not your work, and that's okay. And they learn something from the class, and they're inspired by you, and then they post something.
Can you guess which are my work there?
I can, because it follows your typographic grid, right? Unless they're ripping that down, like this must be your work. Let's see. Yeah, that is your work right there.
Which one?
This one right here. Can you see it?
I have. Oh yeah, that's
you got to look on the second monitor. Yeah. See, so that's obviously yours, because the typography is the easy giveaway, but then the composition, like what the heck is that, right? Resistance. And why is somebody doing "This is America"? This makes no sense to me. And then they're like leaning on the wall. It's like I don't think that's you. And look, I mean, some of these are like, what? That has nothing to do with it. But look at this one. This one's pretty cool. Maybe. You know, they're using photography and they're using some of the colors. Very different take on this aesthetic. So I like that where it's,
totally.
Right? It's like, okay, it's a little different. They're adding something to it.
Exactly. This is the stuff that when I see that, okay, you maybe, because they add also the Baugasm hashtag, because they're just doing a 1 year challenge.
Right.
They're not necessarily copying what I'm doing, but like they're doing it like that. But like in the same time, like I've seen people like going through my classes, watching my first class, and they're like, I'm going to do 1 year challenge. But they're students, they're just getting started. I mean, don't start something personally, I think that you're never going to finish. That you know that you won't be able, because I see that they go through all my classes and they replicate for like 1 more month and they get stuck and they fail. And you have to understand that while doing this as a thing, you don't have to just watch my classes and you don't have to start to do 1 year of a project. You can do 1 month, just do 1 month. And you're going to learn a lot of stuff through that month than 1 year, because after 1 year, you better finish it than never finish it. Like better get it done in a month than do 1 year and then fail on it. It's much more easy, achievable 1 month of challenging yourself and doing something than doing a year. I mean, personally, 6 years ago when I started, I did 60 days and I failed. And now I'm doing 2 years and still it's very difficult for me. So think about it that way. Like there are a lot of people who just getting started now. I mean, like, of course, like if you do it, completely go for it. But I'm just my, advice.
All right, so now you've added a lot more layers in here. So here's another question for you: how do you know when your thing is done?
It's never done. So I made a deal. I made a compromise with myself. I said that I could work with this thing for hours. And basically, what I'm doing now, this is how mostly I work with the posters every day. Then I'm like, I started, let's say, with that stripe in the morning, and then I go back 2 hours later. I'm like, okay, maybe I'm gonna add another thing. And when it's like 11 p.m., I'm like, damn, what did I make today? I'm just gonna get rid of the whole thing and focus for like 1 hour and create something from scratch.
I see.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's mixed. Now I forgot what you asked me, but
like when is it done? And you're like, sometimes you start over.
Yeah, I mean, I start over, but the thing is, because I can play with it all over, like for hours and hours. I have to stop at one point when I'm like, okay, maybe now it's good. Stop now, because if you just work more on it, you're gonna mess it up. And because I have to do these things daily, and it's not like a one design that I have 1 week to work on, that I can go back and change stuff. So I like to treat that 1 week in few hours. So think about, you have this project for a client, then you have 1 week deadline, and you work for 1 week on it. For me, it's one day. So during that time, I learned how to, say, okay, this is good, looks good, acceptable, throw it out there. But there have been times that I'm like playing for, I don't know, a lot of hours since the morning until when I go to sleep, and work with one thing. I post it, I'm not happy with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Emily, any other questions from you?
Do you ever think about going onto YouTube or starting your own channel?
Yes. As I said, I just got my new studio. It's much bigger than this one, and I'm gonna, yeah. My focus is I want to make something more connecting with the people, and like having more of this stuff like what we are doing right now, but with the Baugasm community, and like talking design and sharing my thoughts on photography, on general stuff that I like and that I follow. And that's, I'm not trying to have YouTube as a way of building another platform, but it's like an extension of Baugasm, of Instagram, because I want to find a different, like for me, I started doing Baugasm on Instagram because the platform itself provided me the space to post something every day and like in a certain format. So now YouTube for me is like a new playground that I can see what I can do. So it's like, as I'm going, I'm going to learn things on how to shape it. But yeah, so thinking of that. As I said, I'm also doing some paintings and stuff like that. So I want to make more like videos of like how I'm doing this stuff, and how to go from like painting, and then how to go to digital, and like mixing them together, and creating different styles and different designs. So
I have another question for you. Since you have a very distinctive style in the way that you work, when you're getting commissioned by new clients, are they asking for that same style, or are they looking for something totally different?
Depends. Like I would say it's 70% of the times they ask what they like from my work, and 30% it's like something new.
Mm-hmm.
But mostly the latest work that I've done are like, here's the thing, like they like what I've done with the Baugasm or like with other stuff, and that's why they approached me in the first place. And this is not only for me, but it's for everybody else. But my work is like so much focused on this area, on this style, that of course they come because they like this style. And but what I find out is that while I'm doing work for clients, it's like I'm doing different stuff than just the Baugasm. And I've done some really nice projects. I can't say the names of the companies right now, but I'm gonna post them later. But I would say that are like two big companies that I'm really proud of working with. And for one of them, it's great work. So I'm really proud of the work I did with them, and it's like I'm gonna share. I mean, I can say the name, whatever. It's Converse. So.
Converse?
Converse, yeah.
Okay, so now you guys heard it here first. Boom. Breaking news, guys. Where's my breaking news music? I can't find it. Oh, where is it? I'm going to find it. Here it goes. There it is. This just in, ladies and gentlemen. I just got news from Baugasm that he's working with Converse. Boom. Back to you guys in the studio. All right, here's a question coming in from Levi Jones.
Yeah.
He's asking, okay, he's tuning a little bit late, but it's a good question. Is there a cause, story, or emotion that you're trying to convey through your posters?
Yeah, I get this a lot too. Mm-hmm. So I have a quick answer to that. The thing is, the way how I'm treating the posters is sometimes I have a message that I want to sell, or like something that I'm writing there. I usually treat that with typography, but like most of my work for Baugasm is subjective. It's like I'm not trying to sell anything, and this is the cool part about it, because I'm trying to sell things while doing work for clients. Mm-hmm. And for me, Baugasm is the playground. It's the place where I'm like, I don't care about the brief. I don't have a brief. And the only thing that I have is like this blank space that I can do whatever I want. So somebody looks at it and they thinks that this is, I I don't know, like a penis or whatever. Like I get that a lot, and and I love it when people come up with ideas of things that they see on my designs, and yeah. But most of the time, I don't have a meaning behind them. But if you look at it and you get a meaning, that's the goal.
Okay, somebody else is saying, Finn took your classes. I love your Skillshare class, so just letting you know. Finn's like a big fan there. Levi, again, saying that a cool room. I guess the colors in the background kind of match your whole aesthetic, right? You like that bluish purple color?
Oh, yeah. LifeX said this to me. They were like, it's going to fit so nicely with your style. So, yeah, they kind of look nice.
Oh, okay. Here's a good question from... I think it might be pronounced Javi Sola. He's asking, hey, are you making these for fun or are you making any money with it?
What do you mean? Making money? Of course, I'm making this for fun, but I'm also like selling the posters and sometimes I'm making classes on it.
I have.
So like, and for me, it's like a space on like creating stuff that. When I got started, like I see a lot of designers when they get started, especially in UI and UX, they start, designing something for, like copying, like making Facebook a better UI and like replicating the whole UI and like trying to fix it and make it better. And they post it on Behance, they get a lot of attention because it's like a nice looking design and so on. And for me, that's good. I'm not saying that's bad. Like it gives you like space to fill your portfolio, but why do it with Facebook? Why just don't do it with another actual company who you can help on building their product and reach out to them and like I'm going to help you build this product. So for me, Baugasm is like that space that I'm creating stuff only because I love them and just for fun. But in the same time, this is my portfolio.
Well, I'm glad somebody asked because I have some slides here for the posters because I also found that there's you have a shop, right? So if you want to buy some of the posters, you can go to his site. What site should they go to?
Shop.baugasm.com.
It's super easy. So shop.baugasm.com. And the posters, I think they're around $33. It's 18 by 24. Do you use a company to fulfill these and ship them out?
Yeah.
And how? Go ahead.
Yes. No, the thing is that I struggle a lot on how to find a perfect company to do that because going from most of the posters that I'm doing are designed in RGB and going to printing, they're never gonna end up the same way. So I found a company that actually prints on RGB. So they have like new technology, new printers that automatically converts the colors exactly from RGB to that. And I have some examples over here, but I don't know if you can see them, but they still look great. They're fulfilling. They're mostly depends where the order is, but some of them are fulfilled in Europe, some of them in US.
And are you selling a lot of posters right now?
Well, I wouldn't say that it's like you wouldn't make a living out of it. Depends where you are, but like I don't know, probably there are like I would say 20, 30 posters per month at this rate because I haven't posted anything new and I get a lot of messages from people asking just send add more stuff to the add the latest work on the shop, but I haven't done that. So if you go to the shop, you're gonna see really old work there. But yeah.
Well, if there's interest from you, maybe we can do a little collaboration. I'd like to do like a booklet, a collection of maybe 20 of your posters and have it printed up so it's really nice and maybe do something like that. So if that interests you, let's talk about this after the show. And you guys that are watching this show, let us know if you would be interested in buying a book with 20 posters. Would that be cool for you?
I'm actually working on making the Baugasm book, and I've been doing that for I've been planning that since the beginning. But at this point, I'm designing the book, and I have to figure out the logistics on where to print it, and because I want to have the designs there to look as good as you look
Of course.
at the screen.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, I'm on that process, but we can talk more about it. Of course, we can do anything.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, let me know if you really want the book, though.
Yeah, comment below, guys. How much would you pay for a book with some of the best designs from Baugasm, this poster series? All right, let's see what they say about that. So some people are saying cool, but I'm not seeing a lot of like dollar signs yet. Come on, guys. Now, as you're working on your design here, what else are you looking to add or subtract from this? Like, what's going on in your mind in terms of if you know this is getting ready to be done or not?
For me, what's going on in my mind is when this is going to end.
Okay, I know what. We're going to probably end in about 10 minutes or so, so let's time it for that. Okay.
No, I'm just kidding. I mean, I love this. Please never stop it. So, no, when I get to talking, sometimes, I'm just like, I forget that I was doing something here. But, yeah, I mean, I can play around. As I said, I can play around with this forever. And, I get to this point. Like now, for example, I like it. I'm at this point that, okay, this could be something that I can post it. Maybe I can add some typography on top and add some more elements. So maybe let's do that.
I would love for you to do some type on there.
I'm going to do something else before the type. So
you got rid of the snake, though. I saw that the snake is gone. That coil. What is this?
It's not. It doesn't work. Yeah, I wanted, because I love adding this, like, if you see, because my posters get printed, and sometimes I don't want to leave it like just that. I want to add something more organic to it, like scratches that you see on negatives, like film negatives when you scan it. And you see like imperfection in there, and this doesn't need to be like so digital. And when I add this stuff, like, I don't know if you can see that, like these dots, like this small white, maybe turquoise.
I could see a little bit of it. Yeah.
Yeah, so those kind of make the work a little bit more like organic, that imperfection. Sometimes I also do like, like that. Like and when I see this, that people kind of replicate this, I laugh a lot because I'm like, they paid attention to the details.
All right, so the money the money suggestions are coming in. I see a lot of people commenting between $30 to $60. A couple of people are saying, Ash was saying a collab with would be amazing. He'd pay $250. Somebody else said £350, $50, $20. It's all over the place. Somebody says priceless. Gaston's being funny. He's like $666.
Well, I mean, we gotta find a. When I do that, I'm gonna find a reasonable price. So, it's always difficult with the prints, because you have to do, especially with a book. This is the part that I have to find a good place where they can just publish it, and I don't have to take care of the logistics, because that's gonna be a nightmare, and I don't want to add that on top of my daily routine.
Yeah.
So if you have recommendations, please send them on.
Okay, so if you're going to add type, somebody's like, hey, use the future for typography. You don't need to. You can add whatever you want, but that's what somebody's suggesting. That's from Javi Sola.
To use what?
Use the word the future if you're going to add some typography. That's a suggestion from Javi.
Oh. Okay, let's try.
What is your daily routine?
I think I slightly mentioned that before, but I think it's like I wake up early in the morning, not early. I wish.
You wake up whenever you want to, is the thing.
Yeah, I wake up whenever I want, but like I wake up in the morning, that is probably 10 a.m. and I go and have coffee, and I come to the studio, and maybe I sometimes order something at the studio, I eat here, maybe I go home, I cook something with my girlfriend. And we both work together here, so she's like my studio partner.
And, is she a designer as well?
No, she's more like she used to be a model, and now she's more into photography. So she's doing like shoots and video stuff, and yeah.
Now she has a really cool tattoo on her belly, right?
Oh yeah, I Well, sort of. I designed that for her,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, she was in a lot of pain while doing that.
But it looks really cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's good. She's like planning to do some more stuff now, but I hope it's not that big because I don't want to go through the look of her face while getting tattooed and having the pain.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, all right, I don't know. I mean, adding the future. Oh, it says your internet connection is unstable.
It's saying that to you, or is it saying that to me?
Yeah, it's to me.
It's fine. It's still good. It says it to me all the time too. So Zoom is just very cautious.
Okay.
Emily, you have another question that you want to ask? Maybe something from Facebook.
Someone is asking from Facebook how you can incorporate your design, or how does this tie into UI or UX design?
In what sense? Like, meaning that if I can use this for UI and UX, or like,
If you can
how can I
combine
create?
this artistic skill with UI or UX design.
Well, it depends. If it is an app, you can't. I mean, of course you can, but if it is a website, I don't know. Of course, here is a menu.
You're gonna make a menu.
And maybe we'll add that thing, and there you go.
There you go, internet. Done. So I guess we've got a new landing page
Yeah,
for mobile.
And
and this could be video. This stuff could move with JavaScript or whatever.
What else, Emily?
someone also asked, how did you first find out or was inspired by this? Or how did you create this style? How did you first, yeah.
The thing is, I don't like to have to be considered with. I mean, even though I try to not say this and like to get away from it, but personally, if you see my work has been evolved during the times, during these 2 years, and I personally don't like to have like a certain style, and I think that my style is always evolving because I feel like designers or artists who have a certain style, they get stuck with it, and that's what they are known for. And for me, I want to move on and experiment with new things and my style to evolve. So if the question was that, if I remember the question now, because I got so far away, is that with the style, for me, it's like I just experiment with stuff. And this is how I play around with it. So it's not like I was looking for a style, or I get comments from people that like asking, how did you come up with this? Or like, how can I look for my own style? And I'm like, you can't. You just experiment, you play around with it, and then it's going to come a moment when, you're going to come up with something that people going to tell you that this is your style. Because when people tell me that this is my style, I'm like, damn, I have to move from this. Like, I have to, create something else because I don't want to be stuck with it. And it's difficult. I'm struggling with it, and I'm trying to experiment with new stuff. So it's sort of evolving all the time.
Right.
And sorry if my voice started changing, but I have allergies during this time, so I hope you understand that part.
What else, Emily? Oh, I know what. Whose work inspires you?
Well, I love a lot of like Keith Haring is one of my favorite artists.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the thing, like I don't get actual inspiration of like aesthetically, but inspiration that I get from artists is ethically, like what they did or like what they achieved on their career. So that's the inspiration I get from my work. And then I'm like, okay, I got energetic from this guy watching a documentary about his life, and I'm like, okay, now I'm gonna do my own stuff, but like I don't care what they did. Like, I don't care about their work, their aesthetics, their work, but I care about how they did it and what they did in a sense of like process, about the journey that they had. So I want to have my own journey inspired from their journey. So for me, that's, yeah.
Great. So now I have to ask you this question. At the beginning of the show, we weren't sure if this design was going to be your post for the day. And how are you feeling about it right now? Is this going to make it, or are you going to abort?
I'm going to add more stuff. I'm going to look more into it and adding more things, because the problem with this one is that because I did today's poster and it's similar to this one.
I see.
So I don't want to have the same thing. So I'm going to add a few more things. Maybe I'm going to play around with some more Illustrator and stuff like that, maybe later on, and see what I can do. But I'm going to try to keep some of the elements of this one on tomorrow's poster.
Okay, that's fantastic. So you guys that are tuning in, if you want to see where Vasjen takes this, you want to go on to his Instagram account at Baugasm, Baugasm, and let's see, it could totally be different. It could be upside down. Who knows? You'll have to like check in tomorrow, I guess, on his Instagram feed to see what he winds up doing. But this has been fascinating to talk to you and to look at your work. Do you have any parting thoughts or anything that you want to share with us, Vasjen, about anything else that you're doing?
Well, I don't know. Here's the thing that I say always when I'm giving like a conference speech or whatever, like I get asked a lot. I'm like, if you want to learn things, challenge it, put yourself on a difficult position, put yourself on a situation that you are uncomfortable with. And if you make that public, it's even more uncomfortable because all eyes are on you. And that's, for me, what worked with this project, in the sense of getting stuff done. And now I can do whatever I want because I did this. And I think I'm looking for the next challenge. So if you're just somebody that, just getting started and you want to find a motivation on how to do stuff, just start doing your personal project. I have a lot of friends who are really professionals on what they do, but they work for an agency, they work for a company. And all the work that they're doing is just that, doing stuff for the client or for the company, but they never did a personal project. And what I highly recommend to everybody is, whatever you're doing, whatever you're working, do a personal project, because that's something that you're going to love, and it's just you. No brief, no client, no other people telling you what to do. And by doing that, maybe you're going to come up on being profitable. So, that's my only take on that. Just a little bit of inspiration before,
I love that.
Everybody goes to sleep.
Okay, so I want to drive this point home because you mentioned it earlier in the show, and I don't want you guys to walk away from this live stream. You are the third guest who's been on our show who's talked about the importance of personal projects. And so there's all these things that you do for money, but sometimes the things that are most rewarding for you emotionally, creatively, and sometimes financially is for you to do something just for the pure love. Forget the creative brief, just do it because you want to. In your case, you're doing these personal projects to learn. So each day, it's almost like a form of public journaling that you're documenting the things that you learn, and you're always pushing yourself. Like, I want to try After Effects now, or I want to try Cinema 4D, or I want to not use type or use 3D type, whatever it is. I like how you keep pushing it, and if you don't hold the work too precious and worry too much about being perfect, you can achieve great things. The other thing that you said was make sure you devise something that you can do on a regular basis for a year at least, so that you don't quit after 30 days because the parameters that you've created for yourself make it impossible for you to do this long term.
Yeah, what I said is doesn't need to be 1 year. It could be 30 days, whatever. Like, challenge yourself on mastering. Like, for example, I was shooting film and I wanted to learn how to develop film by myself. And I said, okay, I'm going to learn how to do it. I'm going to go through trial and error. I learned that. I kind of mastered it, that medium, because I did it for like a month. I was shooting, I was scanning film, I was going through the whole process. So now, if somebody asks me, I can tell all the ups and downs and all the errors and all the problems. But I learned new stuff from that because I did it for a month. And
I see.
But the thing is, with having your personal project is that I get a lot of people saying that I don't have time to do this stuff. I have to, work and pay my rent. I'm like, Are you kidding me? You always got to find time for a personal project. Even though you go to work and you work 8-10 hours per day, I do that too. That's what I do. I work more than that, but I also do my personal projects, and I have a couple of them. It's not just Baugasm. It's my photography. It's my videos. It's all stuff that I'm doing on the side as personal project, like the YouTube channel now, and the painting and all this stuff. So the thing is, if you have a job that can pay your rent, that's the best thing you can have, because then all the free time you have after that is for you to spend on your personal project.
Mm-hmm.
So find a job that you can pay your rent with and get a living out of it, and then just work on your stuff.
Mm-hmm. Great. Okay, so before we say goodbye to you, I want to let everybody know how they can find you on the internet. So this is Baugasm. I mean, that's the name that you're using online. It's not your real name, but you can find him at baugasm.com or katro.me. And he has 2 accounts on Instagram. I'm not sure if it's on Twitter as well, but you can mention him at Baugasm.
Or the same.
Okay, good. And Vasjen Katro on Instagram or Twitter, and find him on behance.net/Katro16. I guess somebody else had Katro, right? All right. So thank you very much, Vasjen, for coming on our show.
Well, thanks for having me. I hope you enjoyed this, and
it was wonderful to talk to you, to hear your stories and to hear your philosophy, but also to see a little bit of the work itself, kind of like peeking behind your shoulders. I want to thank our our audience on the internet for tuning in today. Thanks for spending a little bit of your day with us. And on behalf of the entire team, I want to thank you and say goodbye, right? So here we go. Yay! Woo! Come on, guys! Give him a little love. All right. Now we're going to get out of this thing and end the show. Thank you very much.
thank you.